It is near impossible to scroll through Twitter and not discover that another person's been hashtag canceled by the internet. And it's only getting worse as more and more people are turning to their phones and computers as a way to entertain themselves during this time of quarantine. The history behind this cancellation of human beings came into existence in the 1991 film New Jack City, where a man's girlfriend was crying over the violence the man was causing, and the man breaks up with her saying, "Cancel that bee, I'll buy another one." The phrase resurfaced on Black Twitter as a reaction to someone doing something worthy of disapproval, maybe as a joke or a general comment. As it popularized, it became a way for people to publicly shame celebrities and spiraled into boycotting them professionally. Twitter and social media platforms were places where marginalized groups were able to express their outrage at racist, sexist, homophobic, transphobic comments made by those they supported. It allowed a voice to people who have no power over pop culture royalty other than their ability to reject or ignore. What started as a way to affect social change has morphed into a powerful entity that makes it more difficult for those of us on more normal rungs of social structure to have open and honest conversation without worrying about triggering someone. What began on a social media platform has trickled into the way we treat one another in the here and now. It's almost a question of morality. Are we pressuring people to repent for their foot and mouth moments in the hopes that they will learn from their mistakes and better themselves in the future? Or, well, no, because cancel culture is the end of all second chances. There are no retrials, no appeals. It's tricky ground to cover because there are varying degrees to cancellation. But I am not here to pronounce judgment, only to showcase how a decision to virtually end someone is an endeavor that can just as well end social growth. A recent victim to the hashtag was Vanessa Hudgens, a star from High School Musical, who unfortunately spoke on the virus during a live stream on Instagram saying, "I'm sorry, but it's a virus. I get it. But at the same time, even if everyone gets it, yeah, people are going to die, which is terrible, but inevitable." Just a simple search of her name now on any choice social media platform will put in your hands innumerable comments on her ignorance, on how excited the public is for the likelihood of her getting the virus, and how her career should effectively end here. Reading through the comments myself, I can only feel relief that it was only to a few people that I ignorantly made the comment that I was jealous of how other colleges' spring breaks got an extra week to their spring break. Well, then COVID-19 effectively put an end to the second half of our entire spring 2020 semester. I was only thinking of myself, as I am privileged to still have two working parents and full access to food and supplies. The vast majority is not subject to millions of people picking apart everything they say on the internet or otherwise. Canceling is a hobby, a dopamine-inducing activity that seems to be a brilliant way to tame boredom and feel powerful until the next opportunity to repeat the process. It's an example of mob mentality and a bias called groupthink. Mob mentality describes how people can be influenced by their peers to adopt a perspective largely based on emotions rather than rationality. Groupthink is a practice of making decisions as a group that punishes and shuns those with outlying beliefs. Just as we project to celebrities and public figures to think heavily on what they say before they say it, if we give ourselves the same courtesy, the opportunity for successful conversation is increased substantially. Another bias theory that plays into cancel culture is the confirmation bias, which is the tendency to favor information that strengthens one's prior personal beliefs. We hold on to every action done wrong and let go of evidence that may prove our thoughts in contradiction with the truth. Imagine if we turn the mistakes of those most present under our collective societal eye into a cultural opportunity to learn and educate ourselves with constructive criticism rather than a rejection of their existence. I was once asked if I was Native American because I looked Indian and spoke American. I've been told that it was surprising to find that I was Christian because I seemed Hindi. It would have been so easy to laugh these people off for their inability to properly organize geography, language, and religion into their respective roles in history as it applies to me, an Indian American woman. But I have had my own experience with making bullheaded statements, like when in middle school, I told a friend she would look much better with short hair. Come to find an aspect of her religion, Sikhism, is that not cutting hair is a way to show respect for everything God has gifted humans. She could have been offended and left me confused rather than explaining herself to me and allowing our friendship to grow, going on strong 6 years now. What seems so obvious to us is not necessarily obvious to others. So instead of jumping the gun and being the first to chew off a head for saying words out of line, we can start by assuming good intentions. No one is the villain to their own story, and very few actively pursue making a fool of themselves for the world to see. It's a natural instinct to get defensive over our values and beliefs when they're in contact with any perspective different than ours, but that is counterintuitive to successful conversation. Instead, we should ask questions and then offer information on the matter at hand beyond "you're wrong" and "stupid." Assume good intentions, tame this knack for defensiveness, ask questions, and actively educate each other rather than criminalize mistakes and poor choices. That is how we continue to grow together as people stuck in a society that continues to become more polarized with every passing tweet. Thank you.